Hi, you guys. Welcome back to the Scrubs Off Duty podcast. It is episode 3. Today, we have a few subjects to touch on. I want to talk about new grads and where you can work and where you should work and all my opinions on that. I want to talk about switching specialties and my opinions on that. And then just like a little bit about life and some pop culture things. But let's get into the episode. So I don't know if you guys seen it, but there's like this trend going around on TikTok and Instagram. I actually did do it. It's like, I originally saw it. It was like reasons why I think my boyfriend should follow other girls on Instagram. And she's like doing her makeup or get ready with me while I tell you reasons why I think my boyfriend should follow other girls on Instagram. And she like does her makeup and she's just like absolutely silent after that. And like, that's the joke. Like, you know, she doesn't think there's any reason why her boyfriend should be following other girls on social media. But some people like do not get this joke, okay? Like, I don't know if it just goes whoop over their head or what. But I did this trend, but I said like reasons why I think you have to start out in med surg as a new grad nurse, which like if you know me, you know I'm like very like pro start wherever you want, whether that's med surg, ER, ICU, L&D, like wherever you want. If you want to start out in med surg, that's great. It is a specialty of its own. And I think it's great for some people, and people that work there are strong, and couldn't be me. I could not do med surg. I do ER, and that's where I started out as a new grad. And I think like you should have the choice without being pressured or told like, oh my gosh, you should not start here, for whatever area you want to start in. So I did that trend, and like some people just did not get it. Like they were like, oh my gosh, blah, 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 blah. Like you should be able to start out wherever you want to start. And I'm like, yeah, I 100% agree. Therefore, that's why I did not list a single reason in my video. But I think it's more of like a older generation of nurses thing. And I've talked to many nurses about this topic. Like just from my personal experience, yes, I did start out in the ER as a new grad. Yes, I did think it was difficult, but I also like feel like it made me so strong. It taught me so many things. And no matter where you start, you're going to have to learn a bunch, and you're going to have to put in the work and put in the effort and be willing to learn. So I'm like, why? Yes, it is great to get experience in a different field. You're still not going to know. You might have some background knowledge, but you're still not going to know what it's like in this field, you know? So I think that's why, like, just start where you want. Start wherever feels right for you. Like, I don't think it should be, oh no, you have to start out in med surg. And some hospitals are still like that. Some hospitals are like steering a little farther away from that. I think residency programs help so much. I actually got a few comments on this video saying like, I don't know, I've worked with new grad nurses and they're drowning. But for me, I think that's an education problem. I think if they are drowning that bad, that's an education problem, whether it's a preceptor or the residency program isn't great or whatever the case is. Like maybe they're not in a supportive environment and they're drowning because these nurses aren't supporting new grads. And that's like a whole nother tangent that I could go on for hours and hours and hours, because people seem to forget that like they were new grads once or they were nursing students once, and they seem to forget like how it felt to be treated like absolute crap by someone that's training you or someone that you're following for the day. Like we all started out as students. So why are some people so hateful and so rude and so horrible at teaching these students and teaching these new grads? Like you want them, you would think you would want them to succeed and thrive and do well and become these great nurses, like hopefully the person that training them is, but it just doesn't seem to be everyone's mindset. And it's just so frustrating to me. Like never forget where you came from. Like I love having students. I actually had a student last week, and I told her, I was like, I love having students. Like I love teaching. I love, seeing a new grad or a nursing student, like they just have a spark to them. Like they are so excited to do all these things. And I used to be like that because I still remember the first time I ever got the opportunity to put an NG tube in, and I was so excited. And now it's like, I do it all the time. It's not as special, if you want to call it that. But seeing someone learn and get these opportunities to do these skills that they've worked so hard for and learned so many years for, in practice, like it's so refreshing to just see their like excitement to do these things that we do all the time. because it's brand new to them. And I love seeing that. And it almost brings like that original excitement and joy back to me, that I had in those moments. And it's always just a good reminder of like, look how far I've come. Like I used to be so nervous to do these skills, or I had only done them, one time in clinical, and I was so nervous when I was a nurse to do them. And like now I do it so easily. Like, look at how much I've learned. Look at how far I've grown. Like, it just gives me like a little spark back in me almost, because it's so refreshing. It's so refreshing to see love for the field and love for these skills and just excitement, genuine excitement to do the things that we get to do on a daily basis and see the things that we get to see on a daily basis. So I said to the student that I had, I was like, no, I love having nursing students. It is so fun for me. I love teaching, and I love when like you get a student that's just so interested and just wants to soak up all the information that they possibly can, because like I say all the time, I'm like, if I'm repeating myself, like just tell me to shut up. But like, I'm going to teach you as much as I could, because those are my favorite nurses to work with that like just taught me so much, and like not like questioned me on things, but like made me kind of question some things that make you critical think, because critical thinking is not really something you can teach. Like it's something you just get after experience and exposure. And I always loved when nurses would be like, okay, why do you think we're doing this? Because like, yeah, you can run through the motions. You can do the things on your to-do list and on the MAR and, do all these things. But like, do you know why? And it really helps you prepare, because like then when you talk to your patients, you can explain to them like, okay, we're doing this, and this is why, and this is what we're going to do after. And if the results are this, that's, and it just helps with overall communication and confidence within the nurses. And it's just, I loved it. And so I always try to like think of, okay, who were those nurses that trained me in nursing school and when I was new grad? And what did they do that made me feel great? And I really try to do that when I get a student or if I precept a new grad. And the student, when I had talked to her about how much I loved it, having her as a student, she was like, really? And I was like, yeah, what do you mean? Why? She was like, I don't know. It's just most of the time, like, I feel like nurses hate having us. And that honestly just breaks my heart. I get it. Sometimes you're just having a crazy busy shift and it's hard to slow things down and explain what's happening. And, I get it. I get it. It can maybe be a little bit more time consuming, but they're also there to learn. And it's also nice to have an extra set of hands to help you too. And so even on your busiest days, that's what I try to think of. Like, I'm here to help my patients, and she's here to learn and to also help me and my patients, so it's a good way to think of like, I have someone to teach, yes, but I get to teach them, which is such an honor. And I have someone that can help me out when I need it. I might not need to go call the tech that I'm working with as much because I have an extra set of hands to help me boost the patient up. Like, they are there to help you, they're there to learn from you. They're there to help you. And if you don't respect them, and it kills me. I just genuinely don't understand. And it made me so sad when she was like, yeah, most people don't like, working with you. Or like, sometimes she said she worked with a few nurses and like they would copy her charting, like copy and paste it literally. And they wouldn't even talk to them, or you couldn't even track them down all day. And it just kind of makes me sad. It's like, I feel like it shouldn't be like that. We should make more of an effort, whether we're super busy or not. Like, I'm sure the nurses that trained us were super busy too, but hopefully someone made an effort for you and made you the person you were today, or the nurse you were today. I could talk about this for hours. I'm so passionate about it because it sucks feeling like you're unwanted or unwelcome when you're starting out and trying to learn. Like, nothing makes you feel crappier. And then it also, like, you're not going to ask them questions if you feel unwelcome or like you're unwanted in the situation or unwanted as a student. And that leads to mistakes, that leads to a patient safety concern. And ultimately, like, that should be our number one concern. We don't want a nurse or a nursing student to think that they can't come to us and ask us a question, and so they'd make a mistake instead. And so, I just want to say that from the bottom of my heart, I think it's so important to support each other. Even if you're not a new nurse, even if you're not a new nurse, we need to support one another. It's hard. Our jobs are hard. And yeah, having a student might make your job a little bit harder that day because you have to slow down and explain things and do all that. But like, what an honor to get to train someone. I think it's such an honor because we're teaching the next generation. And this is a fulfilling career. And I think we want to show them that. And we want to show them that they can like their job and show them that like there are good things to it and show them how to be the best nurse that they can be and show them how to thrive in their job versus tear them down or ignore them or make them feel like they're unwanted. So maybe like some people don't even realize that they're doing that, but maybe just think it more intentionally if you are training someone like, what did I want when I was a new grad nurse? Or what did I want when I was a nursing student from the nurse that was training me? And what made me feel good? And what did this person do that worked so well? And just also like have a conversation with the student or the new grad that you're training, because you can easily say like, hey, how do you learn best? Or, hey, what do you want to see today? Is there anything that you want me to talk about? Like, is there anything that you want to see? Is there anything that you want to do? And just having that conscious conversation with them and open conversation, I'm sure helps them feel so much more comfortable. Like my nursing student that I just had, she said that she had wanted to work on like an IV pump. Like she was going to go to the floor in the next week, and it was just after winter break. And she said like, I just want a little refresher. And I was like, okay, that's awesome. I would love to show you how to use the IV pump. Like, and you know, the first few hours been a lot in the ER. We run a lot of things by gravity. So we hadn't had anyone that needed anything on a pump, but finally a patient came up and we had to give them something on a pump. I showed her how to do it on the one, and on the next one, I let her do it, you know, and it's just easy things like that. And she was so appreciative and so thankful. It doesn't take much. It truly doesn't take much. That's the message I'm trying to get across here. Like, it's not that hard to be nice. It's not that hard to support one another. And I think we all can do better, you know? With that said, though, back to the specialty thing, I think along with the stigma of like you need to start out in med-surg, which again, I'm not hating on med-surg. Med-surg is great. I love med-surg nurses. I have many friends that are med-surg nurses. It is a specialty in its own. Every area of work is a specialty. Med-surg is a specialty. ER is a specialty. ICU, L&D, OR, like I could go psych, all of these different areas, they're all specialties and they're all made for certain people. We all have different personalities and different workflows and different things we like to see. I believe that truly everybody has their home. Every nurse has the place that they're meant to be. And whether you find it on your first job or you find it on your 10th job, or maybe your home changes, you know, maybe you move. Maybe your home changes every once in a while. That's totally fine. And I think some people are like, oh my gosh, I'm giving up. And I feel that too. I felt when I took my break from the ER that I was giving up on not only myself, but on my dreams and on the ER, because it was always my dream to be an ER nurse. And I loved it and I worked so hard for it. And I felt like I was giving up, but you're not. It feels that way, and I think it's normal to feel that way, but you're not giving up on your dreams because your dream was to be a nurse, or at least that's what mine was. Yes, I loved and wanted to be an ER nurse too, but like I just wanted to help others and take care of people. That's my reason. That's my why. And so wherever that may be, I'm still following my dream. I'm not giving up. I'm not quitting. And I think, you know, with the stigma of having to start out in a certain specialty, there's also the stigma of don't leave your nursing job or don't change specialties, especially as a new grad, which, you know, I can see that to a point. I do think like you should give it your all for a few months, at least 6 months, maybe even a year. But like if it's not working out for you, it's okay to leave. Like it's truly okay to leave your job and try something new, because not every specialty is made for everyone. And once you might have this vision and think you're so fit for this place, and once you get there and actually start working there and being on your own, like you might realize, I don't like this. And I think there's a difference between like pre-shift anxiety and just anxiety and hate towards your field of work. Like I really, really, really struggled with pre-shift anxiety as a new grad nurse. And, you know, sometimes I get it now as well. I feel like it was the worst for me for like the first year of being a nurse because like you just never know what you're going to get, especially in the ER. And I was just worried like, will I be good enough? Will I make a mistake? Will I know what I'm doing? Will a family member get upset with me? Like so many things run through your mind. And I think to a point, pre-shift anxiety is normal and it happens to a lot of people. But I think when it crosses the line is when like you are just anxious about work all the time, when you hate being there or like you just feel like you're at your breaking point. Like that's when I think it's like you should reevaluate where you're at, and that's okay. And so many people are like, oh no, you shouldn't leave. Like you should try it for a long time. Like don't leave where you started. Not everyone likes their job, blah, 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 blah. And that might be true for some people, but I think that it's okay to leave your job. It's okay to want to try something else. And I don't think that's normalized enough, that like, it's okay to leave. It's okay to try a different specialty. It's okay. And like, you might have worked in this specialty for years and you're scared to leave. And I get it. It's scary because like when you leave and try a different specialty, I feel like a new grad nurse. Like genuinely, it feels like you're a new grad all over again because yes, you have your base knowledge of wherever that may be, but like you aren't educated on this specialty in itself. And so it's like a whole new ballgame because you're learning all these new things in this new area. And like, it can be overwhelming and you can probably get that pre-shift anxiety again if you haven't felt it in a while. Like, but honestly, I think one of the coolest things of nursing is that you can work in so many different areas. There's so many different things you can do. You can do aesthetics. You could work from home. You could do triage nursing. Like you can work in a doctor's office. You can work in a correctional facility. You can do sane nursing. You can do there's so many different things. School nurse. Like I can just list them off. Like there's so many different areas that you can work in and you can try. So my thing is like, why stay miserable at the same job for so long when there's other options? Like, yes, it's hard to leave. It's hard to leave your friends. It's hard to leave what makes you comfortable, but you can do it. You can try something else. And you know what? Hopefully if you do leave your job, you leave on good terms and you could maybe come back if this other job didn't work out. That's always my best advice is like leave with plenty of notice and communicate to management why you're leaving and, leave on good terms and hope that there would be a rehire if you ever needed that in the future. But I think it's okay to walk away from something that might not be the best for you or might not be benefiting you as much as it did originally. And there's so many things out there that you can try in the nursing world, which I'm taking my own advice into practice. I, not only am an ER nurse, I'm an IV hydration nurse, which I love doing that. I've talked about before how I kind of feel like it's not as fulfilling for me in a sense. Like I love it. It's definitely a different pace. And I guess I correlate sometimes fulfillment with like busyness. And ER is very busy and very fulfilling and, very life-changing events. And IV hydration is not as much that for me, in my opinion. So I kind of struggled with that mentally a little bit when I first started out. Like, okay, I don't feel like I'm making a difference, which I am. I am making a difference. It might not be the same difference I make when I work in the ER, but that doesn't mean I'm not making a difference. And that might be something that you go through if you do make a transition to a different specialty. And I just want to let you know like that I think is a normal thing to go through because you're used to doing this, this, and this and feeling this way and this way. And like, this is totally different. A new thing might be totally different. And I'm also going to start a different position as well. And I'm going to work 3 PRN jobs. I haven't talked about this yet. So you guys listening to the podcast are the first to know. I interviewed for a new position last week. And if you're listening to this on Monday, today is actually my first shift. And I'm really excited. It's in the home healthcare realm. And I don't want to talk too much about it until I know more information and actually my first day is over, but I'm going to manage all 3 jobs together. They're all kind of like part-time jobs anyway. So having them all together makes it, kind of equate a full-time job, but I felt like I loved the ER, I loved IV, and I felt like something was missing still. And yeah, I could work more in the ER, I could work more in the IV position, but I didn't feel like that was gonna like fill the hole that I was missing. And then I came across this position and I was like, okay, I just feel like this is what I'm being called to do. And I've always kind of like been interested in something like this. The only thing I am kind of worried about is my attachment issues. The ER is kind of nice because, it's not as easy to get attached to people. I still like get emotionally invested and involved in my patients, of course, and get attached and like process things when I have people pass away or have hard situations. But it's not the same for me as like working in the ICU or working on the floor and having the same patient 3 days in a row and getting this great relationship with them, because normally we only have them for a few hours before we either discharge them or send them to surgery or send them to the floor or send them wherever. So it's just not like there's not as much room to build these long relationships. Like my husband used to work in the ICU, and I mean, he would have the same patient sometimes for weeks. I mean, even months in some cases. And like, I can't imagine the closeness you grow with the family. And I mean, if the patient was extubated, the patient too. But I mean, even the patient with them intubated, I feel like you can grow relationships and really care about them, even if they can't, communicate back to you. And I just knew like that wasn't an area I could do because of that. But this position is kind of more setting myself up for a long-lasting attachment relationship, which, kind of makes me nervous, but it also kind of makes me excited to like build that long-term bond with someone and their family. So it's going to be a whole new ballpark for me. I'm going to be learning a lot of different skills, working with like trachs and feeding pumps and tubes. And like, not that I don't do that in the ER, but like a lot of the times we intubate people. I've had a handful of patients with trachs in my nursing career, but like most of the time they're coming in for a different issue and they manage their own trach. And so, it's not something I'm as comfortable with. And feeding tubes, I've used them before. I've used a kangaroo pump a handful of times, but it's not something I do on a daily or weekly basis. It's going to be challenging me and giving me new skills, and I'm really excited to learn because I love learning. I mean, I know it kind of sounds like a little nerdy of me to say that, but like I love learning, and I feel like anyone in this career probably loves learning because medicine is always changing and evolving, and there's new things coming out and new studies, and I love learning, and I love learning new skills, and I love challenging myself. And I think this is going to be a challenge for me, not only like with my skills and knowledge, but emotionally as well. So I'll keep you guys posted on how it's going with like my emotions and attachment, and we'll work through it together. But I'm just really excited, and I felt like I was being called to this job, and everything happens for a reason, and it like perfectly fits into my schedule that I already have. And if it doesn't work out, then it doesn't work out, but I'm really hopeful that it will, and I really see it working out. And I'm just really excited for this next chapter, and I can't wait to tell you guys more about it. But this is my whole point. Like, nursing is so diverse, and you can do so many different things. And if it takes 3 different jobs, working PRN or part-time, to equate to full hours, doing different things in each job to make me feel fulfilled, like, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do whatever it takes for me to like feel like, okay, I'm challenging myself. I have also a more easygoing job, and then I have a crazy job. Like, if that's what it takes for me to be like, okay, I love this, then I'll do it. And I feel like that's where I'm at, and that's exciting for me. But my husband, I don't know if I've really talked about this much, but my husband worked in the ICU for years. That he got right into there as a new grad, and he actually transitioned a couple months ago now to hospice. And that was a really unexpected change for, like, I thought for him. Like, I wasn't expecting him to change to hospice. He's like very reserved and not as conversational at first with people. And so like, that's why I always joked around that like the ICU was perfect for him because like, you talk to the family, of course, but most of your patients are intubated, and you kind of just do your thing, you know? So, and he worked on nights, so he didn't really have as much family, you know, to communicate with. And like, he's very just like, get in, get my job done, you know, do what I need to do, very organized. Like, I thought that was the perfect position for him, but he actually started to, you know, struggle with working there. And, you know, as we all did, we all started in the pandemic, like we saw a lot, you know, and it can be a lot. And after the death in the family, like he had decided that he wanted to try something new. And so he started doing hospice. And so far he really, really enjoys it. It is different. So he does 5 shifts a week instead of 3 shifts a week. And so that's kind of been like interesting to navigate for us. Like we were used to before, both of us working 3/12s. And like we loved doing the hack of like working 3 shifts the first half of the 1 week and then the second half of the second week. And then you can have 8 days off in between. Like you can go on trips and you don't need to take PTO. And like, that's not something we can do anymore for him. And, you know, we're married now. And of course, like we're going to do things together and go on trips together as much as we can and try to not, you know, separate. But it's a little different to navigate, but he's also like extremely flexible, and it's been really interesting like hearing about his job and what he does instead. And like, you know, he has a work phone and he has a work computer, and like he charts from home a lot of the times, and like, you know, he drives to these people's houses and takes care of them, and, you know, communicates a lot with a nurse practitioner about medications. And it's just like a whole different vibe and a whole different field of nursing that I personally had never felt that I had interest in, just because that's a hard situation for me with like my past. Like when I was in nursing school, my grandma passed away. It was my first year of nursing school, and actually it was finals week. I have talked about this a few times, but we did hospice at home with her, and, you know, I think everyone in my family was so thankful that we could do that. It was during COVID, so if we hadn't done that, we probably wouldn't have been able to be with her because all the nursing homes were on lockdown and she was in a facility at that time. And we were just really thankful for that. But I almost feel like sometimes I didn't process her death to the need that I processed her death. I worked through it. It was extremely hard. Like she was really my only grandparent that I ever had. And so it was really hard for me with her passing. And, you know, I was 18 at the time. So I hadn't really, luckily in my life, had anyone else pass away at that point, really, besides my dog, my childhood dog, which that was like a whole other hard thing for me to go through. I still cry about it and I can't talk about it much. But I feel like, you know, she passed away and I had finals that week, and I had communicated to my instructors that like, hey, this is what's going on in my life. Like I'm helping take care of my grandma at home right now. Like she's on hospice, not doing well. And they had basically said to me like, okay, we're so sorry. You're either going to have to take the test on the day that it is, or we're going to and it was either 3 or 5 points. I don't remember exactly the numbers. This was, you know, years ago now, but we're going to have to take either 3 or 5 points off automatically if you move it to a different day. And, you know, I guess I get it. That was their policy, you know, for you being sick or missing or whatever. But like, I wasn't sick. You know, I felt like it was a different situation and kind of like a lack of understanding on their end. Like we're supposed to be caring, kind, giving people that are empathetic and sympathetic. And like I was going through something really hard in my life and was trying to be present and spend my grandma's last days with my grandma, not studying for finals. And I felt like I almost didn't cope and process her death as much as I should have, because she passed away and it was in the morning, and I was like, okay, I have to go back to my apartment and I have to go study. Like I have an exam tomorrow. Like I you know, it was just like, it was a hard week, really hard. Well, more than a hard week, but really hard time in my life, you know, going through that and not being able to be there with my family and spend time with them because, you know, family from cousins and people from far in Illinois came, and like, all got together and, you know, kind of coped together. And I couldn't be there for that. And I couldn't like really process it because I was like, I have school. Like I have exams. Like I literally have a final exam tomorrow for nursing school. And like, if I don't pass this, like I'm failing out, you know? And I was too nervous and they would only let me push the exam a day or two. And so I was like, will a day or two really affect me that much? Is it worth it taking the automatic loss of a few points? Like, I don't know. It was just a risk that I felt like was too risky because in nursing school, every single point matters. And, you know, the grading scale is completely different. Like a 93 was the end for an A. And like you had to get a 78% in the class to pass nursing school, which is obviously much different than other schools. So that was just like a really hard time in my life. And so I felt like hospice for me is kind of too personal because I felt like I hadn't processed everything with my grandma, and I just don't know if personally I could do it because of how hard that time in my life was for me. And my husband all the time is like, no, Brie, like I really think you would like it. I really think you'd be so good at it. But it's just still a little too close to home. And I know that's kind of crazy to say since it's been years, but you know, that's just my opinion on it. And it goes back to me again saying like everybody has their home. I don't think hospice is my home yet. I mean, never say never. It could be one day, but everyone has their area and everyone has their strengths and weaknesses. And I love that my husband has been loving it. I was surprised that he chose this, but so far he really likes it. And I mean, he said to me, like, if I don't like it or if it's too hard for me after losing my grandpa, like I'll do something else. And that's just like what I love so much about nursing. Like there's endless possibilities, endless careers, endless paths you can do, and you're not stuck. It might feel like you're stuck, and I hate that you feel that way, but like you're not. You can do so many other things, and maybe this is your sign that you should try something else if you've been feeling like you're stuck or feeling like you don't like your job or feeling unfulfilled. Like maybe just look, see what's out there, and you might find your dream freaking job that you didn't even know was your dream. And that's kind of, I feel like, what happened to me. I mean, again, I haven't worked yet today. If it's Monday for you, is my first actual shift, so we'll see. But I feel like this is exactly what I was looking for, and I'm really excited and feeling really grateful for this opportunity to get to take care of people. But on a little lighter note, I think that's pretty much all I have to say about nursing for now. But like I always say, you know, this is a podcast about nursing and life because we are more than nurses. We're more than nursing students. We're more than healthcare workers. We're more than whatever you are. You know, you're a person too. And let's talk about it. Let's talk about life. But I wanted, number one, do a little Bachelor recap. I don't know if you guys are watching The Bachelor. I obviously am recording this before Monday, so I have not watched tonight, but I am watching tonight, of course, with my friends. I don't know about you guys, but I am Team Daisy through and through. I love her. She really reminds me of Abby, and from a few seasons ago about how vocal she was with her cochlear implant, and I think it's so important to bring awareness to this, and even just like how sweet they are. Like both of their personalities just seem like similar in the sense of not only do they have cochlear implants, but they're both so sweet and so open and so willing to share and just seem like such genuine, kind souls. And I just really love her. And I think that they are going to go so far because like they just have this chemistry and like the way he looks at her. Are we for real? Are we for real? I'm so excited to see where this goes because I just feel like they're gonna go far, and I don't really see that with anyone else yet. But of course, she was the first one-on-one, so like we'll see tonight where that goes with them, or where it goes with everyone else, I guess I should say. But also, the Grammys are coming. Well, they're past now by the time you're listening to this, but I think Rep TV is coming out. I don't know if you guys have seen. all I'm seeing are videos of Taylor and all the things she's doing. She changed all of her profile pictures to black and white, okay? I think it's being announced. She posted the cat with its leg up, and that was February 5th, 2018, which was 2,190 days between the two posts. And you know why that's important? Because in Glitch, she says, but it's been 2,190 days of our love blackout. Like, I just don't understand how she does it. She's been wearing black everywhere, right? Okay. She's nominated for 6 Grammys. Reputation is her 6th album. It's the 66th Grammy. Like, what? The Grammys are on February 4th. 2 + 4 = what? 6. Like, you can't make this up. You cannot make this up. You can't. Like, how does she do this? Like, does she have a whole team that just, like, puts together and calculates these Easter eggs? Like, I just need to know, what is the secret? How is this possible? Like, how? The numbers, I just can't. Like, you can't make this up. It is just too damn good to be true. I will be wearing black tonight, and I will be watching the Grammys for the first time ever, because I don't normally watch the Grammys. Like, I don't really watch award shows live. I'll watch, like, little clips after. But no, you bet I will be in all black watching the Grammys tonight. I'm so excited. I am so excited. And I'm recording this on Sunday, the day before this goes live. So watch me be so embarrassed when this is up tomorrow, because it doesn't happen. But it's happening, okay? It's happening. I'm manifesting it. It is Belly, my fur little baby, my second pup. It is going to be her 2nd birthday this weekend on the 10th. And so I'm so excited. We haven't really figured out, what we're going to do yet, but I'm so excited for my little baby. I can't believe she's 2. It breaks my heart because I don't want them to get older. And Betty is almost 9, which, like, don't even bring it up. I cry about it every single time I think about it. But the most exciting thing that I really wanted to talk about, which it's not happening this week, but we're announcing it this week, is Mel from Mel's Crafty Corner. She's like one of my besties now. And we had this little conversation about, like, how Midwest nurses and healthcare workers and just, like, Midwest people in general kind of get forgotten about. Like, especially during, like, Nurses Week, they always hit the East Coast. They always hit the West Coast with, like, events and things. And, like, we just get forgotten about. And we're like, no, we need to change that. So we are going to it's going to be my first event ever. But Mel has actually done an event before, but we're going to do a little event. And we're both huge mental health advocates and huge self-care advocates. And as you can see, self-care is healthcare, right? We're repping it. Our merch. But we really wanted to, like, make, especially in the winter, like, living in the Midwest is hard. People really struggle with seasonal depression. We barely see the sun. Like, there's not as many things to do because it's cold and snowy and icy and just yucky outside. And, like, we wanted to make an event for people to come to revolving around self-care. So I'm not allowed to show you the little flyer for it yet, but hopefully by the time this is out, the tickets will be out. I'm giving you a little sneak peek, all right? But hopefully the tickets will be out and you can get them and look at the banner or the flyer and everyone will know about it. But the title of the event is called Self-Care is in Bloom, a spring soiree with Brie and Mel. And we're going to be doing things like making friendship bracelets and arts and crafts. There's going to be, like, braid bar, Dry Bar is going to do a braid bar and so many other things like massages. There's going to be, like, an aesthetic spa is going to, like, be doing laser. And I'm just so excited. There's going to be swag bags. These swag bags, you guys, like, I wish I could get a swag bag. There's going to be so many fun things in there. Like, I am just so thankful because we've reached out to so many brands and told them what our goal is. And we want, not only wellness, we're doing swag bags because we not only want, like, you to take care of yourself tonight, the night that we do this event, but also, the nights following. So we wanted to be able to give you guys things that you could, perform acts of self-care and wellness with. So we reached out to so many brands and we got a lot of no's. It was really disappointing, but we got so many yeses. And I'm just so excited for you guys to get your hands on these swag bags. Like, the value, the things, like they're all products both Mel and I love and use, and we can't wait. Like, I'm so excited. It's going to be in Milwaukee. So Milwaukee, Wisconsin for our Midwest people, but anyone can come. You don't even have to be a healthcare worker. Anyone can come. You can bring your friend, you can bring your boyfriend, you can bring your husband, you can bring your wife, you can bring your girlfriends, like whoever you want. But you do have to sign up. So we both will be posting like links, and you can get your tickets, and make sure you do, because I think it's going to sell out fast. We hope so many people want to take care of themselves and have some self-care and just like a fun night. Like just something to look forward to in the middle of March, like. So it's going to be on March 20th. It is a Wednesday, so it's a weekday. But you know what? I love Jenna Palek. I don't know if you guys know who that is, but she, like, her whole brand is like fun on weekdays. And, like her premise of that is basically like, you don't have to wait till the weekend to have fun. Like, you can do fun things on weeknights and like weekdays. And we're following that message, But I'm so excited because we've been working so hard and looking forward to this so much, and just really want to make a difference in the community, not only like the Midwest, but for healthcare workers. And we preach self-care so much, and we just wanted to do something to preach that message and share it more to people in our lives and around us. So if you live in Milwaukee or close to Milwaukee, even Chicago, like it's not even a bad drive. From Michigan, it's not even that bad of a drive, but we are going to try, if this goes well in the future, to like maybe do an event in Chicago, or maybe do one in a different state, maybe closer to me in Michigan, and just really try to, give some love to our Midwest peeps and give some love to everyone. We literally are so freaking excited, and we've been looking forward to it so much, and I just can't wait. I mean, there's like going to be little stations of all these things you can do. And it's at this like cider. It's called Panoma Cider. And, you can get alcoholic beverages, non-alcoholic beverages. There's going to be food, fun. We're going to have a blast. We're going to be playing Taylor, of course. But I'm just so excited and literally can't wait. And I hope you guys, if you live close or are available, want to come and can come. And we can't wait to like meet you guys and just have a little wellness night together. Like, everybody needs a little Wednesday wellness on a weeknight. Period. But that is all for this episode. I love you guys so much. I can't wait to talk to you next week. Make sure you stay tuned for more info on our event. If you can come, I literally am so excited. I'm so excited, but stay tuned. I'll post on like Instagram and Instagram stories, and that's at Brie Brie the Nurse. All of my socials are at Brie Brie the Nurse, and the podcast is at Scrubs Off Duty Pod. You can always check out Mel and I's collab as well if you can't come to our event. But I really hope someone, if you live close, if you could come. It'd be so much fun. And we could have a little Wednesday wellness weeknight. Yeah. But I love you guys, and we'll talk soon. I will see you next Monday. Bye.